This meeting of the Mitchell City Council to order, and I will read this required statement. This meeting of the Mitchell City Council is being live streamed. The meeting is also being recorded and will be archived on the city's YouTube channel and a link added to the website. This recording is being made in compliance with Indiana's open door law. The recording, along with any agenda and meetings, will be made available for public inspection under the Indiana Access to Public Records Act. The recording will be retained for a minimum of 90 days. The recording is not the official minutes of the meeting, and those in attendance consent to being recorded. YouTube channel for Mitchell is City of Mitchell IN. All right, let's take the roll call. I see that all the council members are present and accounted for. You each have a copy of last month's minutes. Take a few seconds to see if you see any needed additions or corrections. If you see none, I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll make the motion. Accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, next on the agenda is Dan Bortner, Lawrence County Growth Council. Many of you know Dan from his distinguished 20-year career in the Indiana Department of Natural Resources that culminated in his time as director of the entire state of Indiana Department of Natural Resources. Dan has retired from that position and has taken on a new challenge as CEO of the Lawrence County Growth Council. He's requested a few moments just to introduce himself in his new role.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I appreciate you giving me just a few minutes tonight. I will be brief. As the mayor said, I just wanted to come by and let you put a face with a name. If I've known George for 1,000 years, since I was 27 years old and working as the HR director at Regal Beloit. So it's been a while. As the mayor said, I am in a different role now as CEO of the Lawrence County Economic Growth Council. Our role is to try to make this community, the county as a whole, basically a better place to live. And it's not that we're bad, but we can always be better. You know, providing opportunity, providing educational opportunities, job opportunities, and things of this nature to the citizens of Lawrence County. That's what we're going to be about. Any organization I've ever gone into, and I've ran a few of them, I always spend the first 90 days, as I've told my staff, and Sally can tell you, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Don't go in and start kicking chairs over till you know what's going on. That's kind of what we're doing right now. But I'm starting to get my sea legs under me a little bit to understand the organization a little bit better and what we can bring to it. We have to figure out first who we are and what we need to accomplish, and we're going to do that with strategic planning and mission statements and things of this nature as we go through it. If we can be of any service in any way, I want you to be sure and reach out to us. That's what we're here for. There are projects in the community here at Mitchell that we're currently working on. We will certainly try to be as judicious as we can as we move through those processes, but there's a lot of opportunity down here. There really is. From tourism to industrial, you've got the blessing of some open space. There's some things that can be done there. We certainly want to do everything we can to help. We appreciate the confidence that you put in us by helping to fund our operation. I've three terms on the county council in Lawrence County and a term and a half on the Bedford City Council. I understand the job that you have right now is very difficult. The need always outweighs the resources to be able to handle it. So every dollar is precious, and we appreciate the fact that you're going to help us to complete the things that we need to do. So if we can be of any service at any time in any way, just reach out to us. The mayor knows how to get a hold of me, and we can be down here in not too awful long. So appreciate working with you, and good luck with the rest of the meeting. Any questions, any concerns, anything?
Glad to have you.
Yep. Thank you, appreciate that, guys. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Dan. All right, next on the agenda is Mr. Jose Gomez. Mr. Gomez has a presentation regarding the purchase and reuse of the Mitchell Church of God property that is for sale located at 405 North 12th Street. He would repurpose the church buildings as living quarters for seasonal farm workers during the harvest season, which lasts about 90 days, August through October. He has an operation similar to that in Odin. I did call Odin and talk to them about it, and they have been there, they weren't sure if it was 3 or 4 years. And it would be extremely similar to the same operation as what they do in Odin. And I asked for their experience, how they felt about it, and they had, everything they had to say was positive. They made no negative comments whatsoever. These are all men workers. They all have green cards. I think most of them are from Mexico, but they've been vetted by our government before they're allowed to come here and work. The buildings obviously have to be brought up to Indiana State Code as far as so many square feet per person. Restrooms, etc., showers, etc., that sort of thing. I did have the one question for him that all Mitchell people seem to ask, no matter whether it's raining, snowing, or not, is this going to affect trash pickup? So he said that in Odin they use Rumpke, so they just have dumpsters and they're empty twice a week, so there will not be 20 or 30 blue trash cans running down 4th Street. Also, obviously, if I understood him right, the number of workers that this would be about 90. And obviously they would not have their own vehicles. They would be transported in 2 school buses to the farms where they work. I know they harvest pumpkins, watermelons, anything that's got to be manually harvested. That's what they're here for. And they're here for approximately 90 days. The rest of the time, the property is looked after like someone comes in and mows, takes care of it in the summer and the spring. I was told by the clerk treasurer Maggie, her last name has gotten away from me, in Odin, that said that they're extremely polite. Said they don't all speak English. She said, but there's always somebody around that can interpret. So they've had a very positive experience with this. So I will let Mr. Gomez speak. I may have said too much, but I'll let him take it from there.
Well, good evening. My name is Jose, and I work for a company, it's a harvesting company, Gomelo. We've been coming up here for about 10 years now. And a good friend of mine had, his brother was attending a Christian church that we purchased and noted. And through him, he told me that the place was going up for sale. So, you know, we understand how intimidating a big group of men can be. You know, especially when there is what we used to call in the past domestics. These were people that we really didn't have any control over because they were free. I mean, they could do whatever. Not that the man we bring our workers under the H-2A program. I don't know if anyone's been familiar with that, but I've got a few things that I can show you. What it is both, they come from Mexico with a temporary visa, only for the months that we ask for. Normally it's 6 months. You know, we're originally from South Florida. We start in Florida, we move to Georgia, and then we finish here in Indiana. Over these 10 years, we have done or acquired more farms that need our help. And so that's one of the reasons why we purchased the place in Odin. And I have a print here that I can, you know, let you see. We have to go, the government regulates this program very heavily for 2 reasons. You know, we have to comply on their regulations. And also, because these men are under a visa, we're 100% liable for what they do. So in our contracts, when these men come, you know, we don't allow drinking at the living quarters. We don't allow drugs. Now, I can't promise that, you know, one guy or two don't think it's easy to do it, but we take that very serious. We do have the right to terminate that visa when that employee doesn't follow our rules. One of the things when we talk to Odin is, you know, one of the main things they asked us is they had a curfew of 11 o'clock. And so we've been following that curfew, you know, religiously. Why? Because one of the things that we want the opportunity, but at the same time, we don't want to intimidate the towns. Again, it gets intimidating when you see a group of men, you know, 5, 6 men, because they do walk to the grocery stores, convenience stores, you know, they do contribute to the local economy for the time they're here. Laundromat, restaurants, on days off. But most of the time, we're out in the fields. I mean, the only times we're in the living facility is if it's training or, you know, weekends. But 90% of the time, you don't see us around. I think that's one of the reasons why Odin has been so welcoming, because, you know, it's not like on the weekends they're out partying and causing, you know, commotions out in town. They don't, like Mr. Dan said, they don't have a vehicle of their own. You know, we're 100% responsible for, you know, taking them to do laundry, taking them grocery shopping, anywhere they need to go, we provide transportation. So that eliminates a lot of misunderstandings, you know, employees driving around town, drinking, you know, it's none of that. The government, both the U.S. government and the Mexican government, they do background checks on all these employees. Again, just like anybody from any country, you can have good and bad people. We've had a few incidents where, you know, the employee didn't want to listen to the rules, and so we give them 2 chances, because we don't just cancel their visas. You know, if they follow the regulations, they're welcome to stay with the company. If they don't, we send them back. We had an instance where one guy, whether it was a misunderstanding or not, the language was a barrier, so things got misunderstood, and a female thought he was harassing her. He was asking, you know, trying to ask for certain information. Anyways, the cops got involved. He did get arrested, but then he got released, and so we understood that was a problem already. So immediately we told him, even though it was a misunderstanding, one of the things that we don't want is for people to continue seeing us that this is who we are. So we send them back home. But they get, and I'm just gonna show you real quick. When these workers come, and this is some of the information, when these workers come, they get initial visa, and then they get what we call extensions. And that is, the contract doesn't allow you to bring them in on one big contract if you're jumping around different states. So we have to extend their stay. With the initial visa, that allows us to keep extending it as long as we need to. So for instance, we start with 30 days in Florida, 30 days in Georgia, and then we finish here with 90 days. Most of our work is down in Fredericksburg, Dean Stumbler, he's a big pumpkin farmer, I don't know if y'all know him. Scottsburg, we harvest watermelons over there, and, Bologna, Indiana. We're allowed, like I said, the government is really, is really involved in this. We're only allowed to transport these guys for 60 miles or 60 minutes, whatever comes first. So those farms kind of fall in, you know, the area here. And we came across the church. We talked to Ms. Bonnie, we talked to the realtor, and we're interested in purchasing the building if the town of Mitchell is interested in having us. It really, like I said, it has to be up to code, like Mr. Dan said. The engineer gets involved because the health department regulates how many men you can house. I don't regulate that. They go by square footage. They have their, what do you call it, whatever mathematics they do, they're the ones that come up with the number of workers. I know one of the things that we have to do is, like he said, we have to add showers. We don't let our men cook because we found out that by cooking creates more trash. So we cater the food, and the government allows that. You know, we cater 3 meals, 1 in the morning, 1 in the midday, and then 1 in the evening. If they're not here, then the meals are catered to the field where we're at. But it eliminates a lot of trash. Odin, one of the things they asked us is that we provided a way. So Rumpke, we started with 1 dumpster. It wasn't enough, so we went to a bigger dumpster. Towards the end, everybody has extra trash. We bring a 30-yard dumpster and everything goes in there. They come and pick it up and they haul it away. Again, these are all working men. We do have supervisors with them at all times. They're not there by themselves. I'm available 24 hours, a day, if any issues. One of the things that we like about Odin is the local police department, with an agreement, they go around the property at 11 o'clock, a couple of times. And I think that helps us control the workers. They know people's watching. Again, they're not prisoners, but we want to minimize any issues. And so they did, between both of us, they said it was a good idea if they drove by, and it's not every day, but they do, and so the deputy, he has my number, and any issues he has, he calls me right away, and we address it, because we don't want things to get out of hand. Again, we understand it can get intimidating, you see a lot of men. That's been the issue even at motels, hotels where we stay. Because it's not normal for 90 men to stay for 30, 60 days at a hotel, at a motel. And so we get the local law enforcement called on us, but like I said, we have, all these men are legal. We do not work with undocumented. They all come with the H-2A program. And I got information where you can look up what the program is for those that are not, familiar with it. There's information. A lot of this is public information. People just don't know where to look. But, in those pages, you can look and see what the program is about. It's happening all over the country. Every state has these workers. We normally stay at hotels, motels, but it gets very expensive. So when we purchase these properties, we can control things a lot more. We can control the workers. When I say we can control the workers, is because we don't have other people come in. It's just them. At hotels, you always got unfortunately, you know, people that wants to come sell drugs, you know, prostitution, whatever all that is. We can control it by us having our own housing, so that doesn't happen. Now in hotels, we can't. We stayed, Studio 69 in, Scottsburg, you know, we've been staying there for 2 years, and that's always been an issue that people come over there and approach my guys to sell things, and, you know, we just don't know how to stop that, because we can't watch them 24 hours, you know, a day, but in our facilities, anytime we see a stranger come around, they have no business being there. Again, I don't want this to be misunderstood. They are not slaves. They're not, you know, they just follow strict rules. And I'm glad Mayor Cardell called Odin, because like I said, we've been with them now for 3 or 4 years. I have to kind of see back, but the state makes all the changes. That's why those prints, you know, we have to pay the state. Then health department comes in and they take measurements. They tell us what we need to do between them and the architect, and then we just make those changes and you know, be in compliance to what they ask us to do.
Would you have people housed at Odin and here at the same time?
Yes,
Okay, so 2 crews.
2 crews.
And you say this Odin, and if this happens, it'll be, normally you're in hotels where this will be your facility.
Correct. The people that we have in Scottsburg, if this happens, we would house here, so we don't have to deal with the hotel situation. More than anything is, we can't control the people that comes around there. But yes, we would have people in both places.
How long did you say you've been involved in this?
With the program, we've been doing it for about 10 years. But all this time, we were staying in hotels until the church in Odin came along, you know. Even with the changes the state required and the Board of Health, over the years, it was worth investing on a building versus paying in a hotel that, you know, gets pricey.
I understand it. You guys purchased another building there in Odin, is that right?
No, we just have one.
Just one?
What it is it was a Christian church with an old building and then a new building.
Okay.
So they did it in 2 phases. They called it phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 2, because it was an older building, some of the things had to be put up to code, took a little longer. So we started off with one side, and we just finished with the other side here, you know, just maybe about a month ago. But no, it's one building, it's just 2 phases.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Gomez at the moment? I mean, I had told him I didn't expect the council to make any decision this evening without doing a little further research, and possibly we might have a public hearing to discuss it.
And where was the church at again? I'm sorry.
It is at the corner of 4th and Frank Street.
Oh, just up the road from me.
Is there any issues with zoning?
It's half and half, believe it or not. There are 2 buildings there. The building that's the furthest north is actually already zone business. The church building itself, which is further south, is actually residential. However, right across the street going west, that's all zone business. So it's right there at the edge. It's part and part, so. The council would have to approve a zoning change for the church building itself, which covers a couple of lots, other building is already zone business.
Thank you.
I think your information's very, very good.
Thank you.
And like I say, Mayor said, you know, we'll have to do some steps and when, is the proposed date that you'd like to start, or is there a time frame?
Well-
I mean, of course, I know you're probably going out of season now, right?
We are, but it takes, when we submit our first petition for these workers, it takes 75 days to get, not approved, I mean, it takes like 60 days to get approved. And then the rest 15 days is travel and going through the consulate, all, you know, the, whatever the government does there. So, but we cannot petition for workers unless the building is already approved and passed and everything. So, we told, the sellers that we cannot move forward with purchase, you know, until we have an answer, cause if we purchase a building that we can't do anything with, then there's no impact.
Yeah.
I think the Realtor wanted to do a closing date on November 24th. I told him, well, I would have to see what the answer is, and then, you know, we would go from there.
I would, personally, I don't know about the rest of them, I think November 24th is probably gonna be a little bit quick, I don't know, unless we can get a public,
We have to have
get some
I
feedback.
mean, either we go with the first, meeting in December, which is December 1st, that would be our next council meeting, and definitely we should make a decision up or down by then. That gives us almost a whole month to,
Give us a little extra cushion time.
do you think that would fit into your timeline?
Yeah, absolutely,
December 1st?
absolutely.
So when you petition for these workers, do you ever get any of the workers that you had in the last season back?
We do.
Or can you request for those people?
We do have the right to request for the workers that we want, and we probably get about 75% return rate. So most of the workers that we have are in the rules, with the exception of some new ones, but I think a 75% return rate is what we get.
What is the average age, I'd say, the youngest to the oldest?
We can't be, any younger than 18, and company policy, you can't be older than 50. Cause what the work we do is heavy work, heavy lifting. So, again, through the years doing it, we sort of know that anybody after 50, it's hard for them to keep up, you know, with the laborers' work. So 18 to 50 is kind of the range that we allow.
If we did have a public hearing, should we have them come back during that public hearing, or?
Would that be something that would be okay with you to return if?
Yeah, absolutely. I live in South Florida, but because of the place in Odin, I come back regularly to check on it. Although, you know, we have, some of the people that we work with here, when I'm gone, they take care of the place, you know, and so yes, that wouldn't be a problem. I could.
That might be a good thing, you know, if the public has questions and stuff, that you can answer them instead of saying, we'll get an answer. So,
Absolutely.
it makes sense to me if it can work out that way.
I think that's a good idea, because you've done an excellent job explaining the operation and having the public see you, and hearing it from you versus one of us trying to relay it would probably go a long way.
And if they ask us a question, then we'd say, well, we gotta get with Jose,
Yeah.
and if he's right here,
I have no problem, you know, I can answer anything that I know of. May not be able to answer some of the legalities, because that's not me, that's the
Mhm.
government itself.
Mhm.
But, we were, like I said, doing it for 10 years, working with this program. It's really, we pretty much know all the ins and outs of it. And, like I said, one of the real good things about using the program is we have more control over the workers, over the men, versus what I was saying in the past, we used to call them domestics. They had more freedom, you couldn't tell them you can't drink because you can't. Now, these workers, they sign a contract. Again, they know the rules before they get here. They sign a contract that the company presents. And so if they break the rules, that's why we can terminate their contract without any repercussions, Now, if we terminate a contract that they did not sign, then the government definitely comes after us and fines us or whatever they fit is right. But we do have them sign an agreement, of our rules.
And of course, I know you said that they would be a boost to the economy.
They do spend, believe it or not, I don't know if there's thrift stores here.
Mhm.
They love going to the thrift store. They go to the convenience store a lot, on the days off. And I know there's a grocery store, so they do. They do contribute to the economy. Odin doesn't have a lot of places to go to, but the little bit that there is, they're always there. There's a thrift store there. They clean it out. They go in there and they take this stuff home because they believe that even if it's used, it's better quality than what they can get back home. So they do. You should see, I think Odin has there's a Facebook page where here when we left, they uploaded and they saw a big crowd. What it is, not everybody was staying in Odin. But when we ship them, we try to ship them from one location. So you can see the big number of suitcases. Like I said, they buy stuff and they take back home.
Well, there's evidence that, we have Carnival that takes care of our Persimmon Festival, and they have a lot of workers. And, their owner asked me that town one day, said, what's that store there? And it was Regeneration, which is, thrift store. He said, my guys are in there all the time. They're always, they're in there buying stuff and.
Well, they like the deals, they can get a pair of shoes for $5, they can get a jacket for $5, $10. And so yes, they do spend money in anywhere we go. The dollar store. Again, even though we cater to them, they still buy other stuff, drinks, snacks, which is okay with us, but, yeah, they do contribute to the local economy. We've heard from the people in Odin that we're kind of the ones that, I don't wanna say that we're loud, but we're more noticeable, cause Odin is really quiet, you hardly see people walking. Well, when we're there on days off, we're the ones somehow bringing.
Busy.
Yeah, busy, bringing, life back to the town. But, and in the first year, there was a lot of concerns. Again, they weren't used to us. They all talked about how intimidating it was when you see a group of guys, 5 guys, 6 guys, because they like to go shopping in a group, not individuals. So it was,
Learning curve.
yes, but now they're used to them, so, and knock on wood, we have not had any issues, over there.
I just have one more question. So you're basically under contract with the government to get the workers?
Not necessarily.
No.
We're under contract with the farmer, but the government oversees it. If I don't have a contract with the farmer, they will not allow for these workers to come. They wanna make sure that there is a job for them. We had this asked a lot, and I've been approached by other, businesses or, hey, can I get 2, 3 guys here? It doesn't work like that. You know, the government regulates, so if I petition for, you know, I have 3 farms and I petition for 50 men on each farm, my paperwork has to match that. You know, I can't have 200 guys because, and they do, what do they call it, every year they do a random visit. And we have to have everything in place so that we can prove that these workers are, you know, under the visa program. So, again, we're not in contract with the government, but the government regulates it. They're always, the labor department, you know, they can come and visit us once, twice a season, just to make sure that we're in compliance, you know, that these men are getting treated fairly, that they're not getting, taken advantage of, not getting paid properly. You know, the contract does state, a minimum of hours they get paid. Now, it doesn't affect if they get paid more, but that minimum of hours we have to comply with. If the season, because every season is different, if the season wasn't that good and we didn't meet those hours, the company is mandated to pay that difference of hours. Again, it's still, even though this program is really old, there's still a lot of people that don't know about it and don't understand it.
You guys got anything else? Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank y'all for listening to me or hearing me out. I hope, you know, that the city of Mitchell, we go through here every day when we're harvesting. So, you know, I hope that they'll, you know, let us move forward with it.
We will definitely get back in touch with you.
Okay, alrighty. Well, I'm gonna take that, you can keep the others.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I should have opened it up, but, thank you for listening to me and, we'll wait to hear from you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you need your other?
You need these?
No, you can keep it.
Okay, thank you.
Signature?
No, you're good.
Oh, I thought you said I need.
Nope. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Y'all have a great evening.
Thank you.
Don't forget your free satchel.
Yes, thank you.
Good presentation.
Yes, you did a good job. Okay, let's see, under old, I think we're ready to go to old business now. Quick update on, an ambulance. Valerie Lukauer has offered the emergency management camper that she has to give it to us. It's quarters for an ambulance crew. Our preliminary thoughts are pouring a concrete pad next to the, garage doors on the southwest corner of City Hall, placing the camper there with all utility hookups. The ambulance would be housed in the southwest garage bay if we make these arrangements. IU will station an ambulance in Mitchell 24/7 if we do those things. Right now, we're studying the cost, how long it would take us to get the site ready. And we're trying to determine the size. We're measuring now the size of the camper because we can't, till we know that, we don't know where the sewer line, the water line needs to be. When we find those things out, we'll try to put a cost figure together and see how much money we're talking about. But this would give us an opportunity to have an ambulance station down here 24/7. I know that's a goal that we all, I think, wanted to have. Any questions on that at the moment? Okay, quick update on water leaks. I know that each one of you has a list of water leaks. And in a few moments, months ago, what we tried to do, actually starting this year, was try to keep a better track of how many water leaks, where they were, when they've been called in, when they were repaired, and also what was wrong. Was it a valve, was it a split line, et cetera, trying to be, having more information so we could do a better job of tracking that. And when we began, we actually, citywide, we had 47 water leaks. There were a few major, most of them were minor, that did not affect any customer's water service. With the continued hard work of our departments, and we did get outside assistance from outside contractors because there was no way we could keep up. We'd fix one leak and then we'd get another one somewhere else. So we've cut that down. Right now we're in the mid-20s. So we've about cut it in half. And the goal is, hopefully by the end of the year, we'll cut it in half again until we get to a point where we've just got a few. Any questions on that? Okay, also, under old business, I'm not saying that you're old, Sally, but Sally Miller, the Mitchell Park Board President, wanted to kind of bring us update on the city playground, so I'll let her have the floor at this moment.
I'm old, what is that?
Hey, if you're old, then I'm ancient, yeah.
Thank you so much. As you guys know, our mission statement is Mission of the Mitchell Parks and Recreation Board is to provide a safe, well-maintained park and public space through preservation, community enrichment, and memorable experiences. That being said, we've been working closely with a committee to do just that with our playground that will replace the city playground that is currently at City Park. We have a capital campaign committee, a research and design committee, and marketing team committee. We've met all together 3 times since August, and each of those teams has met once independently. Our plans are still revolving around the survey results that we collected from our community over the summer, and those polled, majority of those said they want a fully inclusive playground. We've received 3 quotes from 3 different companies, and we're still in correspondence with 2 of those, negotiating bids and designs that meet our needs that were outlined by those survey results. Our fundraising committee, as a whole, we're happy that the Lawrence County Community Foundation has presented us with a community matching vision grant, which matches gift dollars for dollar up to $50,000. They've made that project ours, and we're grateful for that, as well as helping us with some other grant opportunities that have been in our favor. Our marketing team has started a Facebook page for this project. Patty's been a part of that, and you can follow that at Mitchell Playground Project. We have already, within 10 days, we had 300 followers, so that's moved a lot quicker than our personal page, so we're grateful for that. That's where anyone can follow any of the updates that we have about the progress of the project itself. We're partnering, shifting gears just to make you know, December 13th will be our downtown Christmas event. That's on a Saturday. So we'll be partnering with our other entities that helped us with that last year, and that would include Cookies with Santa, food trucks, vendor markets, children activities, as well as our Christmas parade for the 2nd year in a row. We're happy with the turnout we had last year, and we hope to have more people attend this year. Any money we make above and beyond in proceeds or profits would go to the playground committee project as well. While your governing board, your participation and attendance to these events is also welcomed and encouraged at any time. Anybody have any questions?
Good. There'll be more stuff going on at Christmas and notices and stuff like that too, right?
Yes, you can check that out, Christmas in downtown Mitchell page. I know I've talked to Vicki about it, and I know that it's probably on your radar, but we would like to know more about what it's taking to pass an ordinance to collect those funds, to match that grant. We have until December 15th of 2026, but the sooner we can get started and get that on people's minds and some larger stakeholders' pockets, We would like to do that, but having an online platform for that, is that coming up?
Mhm.
In the discussion? Okay.
Greg's taking care of it, so
All
it
right.
won't be in tonight's meeting, but the next one.
Okay.
Who do they
That's-
make the checks out to from donations?
City of Mitchell
City of Mitchell.
Yes.
with playground in the notes or the memo.
Just a memo of, playground project, yes. So everybody can get their checkbooks out now, that'd be fine, we love that, but, you know, you got time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sally. All right, next, under new business, we have, 3 resolutions to void checks that are at least 2 years old and therefore either lost or will not be cashed for some reason. It is in 3 different funds, general fund, checks, several checks in each one of these accounts. The general fund totaling $3,497.12. Water fund checks totaling $3,781.09. And sewer fund $14,687.76. We can pass the resolution to give Vicki permission to void these checks altogether. You have a list of the checks themselves, the check numbers and the individual amounts on the resolutions. So if there are any questions.
And Becky, for some here that, hasn't been before, when we did this before, that's the 2 years, and it's actually checks we've written, but haven't been cashed, is that correct?
Correct. So the last year we did even more on our cleanup that were a lot of older checks that hadn't been done for years. So this is the ones that hit that time frame for this year.
And some of them could have, just not been cashed, or some of them could have been lost, and we wrote another check, so. it's
Possibly, yeah,
cleaning-
and they just
cleaning
didn't
up
get
and not
voided,
go back
yes.
on your outstanding
Correct.
log,
So this money will just get receipted back in, so we don't have to keep carrying those forward.
What was the, problem with the check to Bank of New York for $14,180?
I don't know. I think that was from 23 probably.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we're up to date on them, so I don't know if they had us reissue that and that just didn't get voided. That would be my assumption. Because they always want their money.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't understand why.
Yeah, so it probably should have been voided. I'm sure it was
Some money,
replaced,
absolutely.
yes. Yeah,
Giving us a gift.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
So is it too late for anyone to come back here and say we owe them this?
well, I mean, those would have been mailed out.
That's not what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't,
Like the Bank of New York, they can't come back.
I mean,
here
that would have
and-
been replaced because that's a bond payment, so
Okay,
that would have been, yeah, and it just didn't get voided, so it was still showing as an outstanding payment.
All right, you need a motion.
We need a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion on resolution B 8, 9, and 10, different accounts that we, do with these checks, put them back in our pot.
I second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, checks can be voided. Next, under new business is Hazel Rig Addition replat of lots 31 to 36. This is something that Logan Gore, who has purchased the property and will be the developer, he just wanted to bring it to the council. This is residential property that he has he's had it surveyed, and I've shown this previously to the council. He has followed all of our ordinances in terms of lot size. He's going to be paying for all of the infrastructure, all of the sewer, all of the water, all of the drainage. He will bring all the lines right up to our existing lines, so we will not have any extra expense there other than the tapping in, which he will have to pay the tap fees. He's also going to construct a road that will be on the west side of these 6 homes. These 6 homes will all face to the west. And he's putting in a 50-foot wide street, which the 2 streets around him, Crandall being one, which would be the access to his addition, is only a 40-foot street. So he's making them wider. He's doing that in order to have on-street parking to go along with the driveway parking. As near as I can tell, since it's residential and already zoned that way, he could go ahead and do this, but he would like for the council to approve it. He just feels like it's a good public relations move.
Give our blessings.
Also, each home is 963 square feet. He's trying to find a niche for people that have financially can't afford some of the bigger homes. Maybe just a couple or a single person. So they're all 2-bedroom. And
What was that at?
Hazel Rig Edition, you know, if you would go out North 8th, cross Hancock, you know where Crandall is?
Oh, yeah.
You turn left there on Crandall and it's down at the end of
Okay.
Crandall. So, any questions regarding that?
No, and I think you mentioned before about, him making the street wider so they can park on the street, because these units don't have garages.
No, they do
So
not
they
have
don't
garages.
So
They have driveways, but they do not
they
have
have a little bit more access to park.
Is there any drainage problems out there?
I went out there with the surveyor, which is Travis Norman, and Tyler and Gerald and I all went out there and looked at it, and it was really impressive how they had designed the drainage, because my first question was, as you know, that's a kind of a low area out there. So that's the first thing I thought of, that they have designed drainage all along the west, and then it will come across the north and come over and join one of our big drainage ditches. And part of that will be underground. Now the part on the west side will be an open ditch, but when it makes its turn back towards our existing drain, it'll be underground pipe. So, I mean, I think they've given that great thought. And I think that will also help, if you're aware, Tony Mullis has built a new house which would back up against their property, and he's gonna build 2 more, so that's 3, and that will help Tony's property out as well. Any other questions?
I'd say the council gives him their blessing that he's requesting.
Just wanna go ahead and make that in the form of a motion that we
Yeah.
just approve his plans.
There's a lot of people that can't afford $350,000 home. This is gonna come down where,
Well, don't quote me on this, cause I could have misunderstood him. What he's shooting for is somewhere around 180. That's what he would like to, the range he would like to be in.
Okay. I'll make a motion that, the city council gives their blessings for this new addition. And, I think we're all impressed with how the layout is and everything. It'll be good for our community, more housing.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I will let Logan know that he's very anxious to get started, and he started on the 1 because he knows that he can build 1 without any problem, but he didn't want to go further without our blessing. Okay, next item under new business.
We got a, is this already taken care of? That resolution on moving the council?
That's what we're doing right
Yeah,
now.
that'll be next.
I just went ahead of you.
Yeah.
Gosh, you in program.
Slow down. Okay. Next order of business is to close a TIF account and add it to the general fund Right now, any money that we get through the TIF accounts already, it goes to the general fund anyway. So this would, on our books, the two funds will still stay separate, but by combining the funds in, it'll simplify paperwork, and it will create a larger amount of money in one account, which with a lot of banks, you can get a better interest rate by doing that. So there's two reasons: to simplify and hopefully get a better interest rate, but it won't change anything otherwise in terms of the bookkeeping. So that's the reason to do it.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 7, that the, authorizing the closure of the bank accounts and the transfer of funds.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that can be done. All right, I believe we're ready for public comments. I've got one to make first. I tried to get this, which me being a technological dinosaur and not the admin for the city of Mitchell Page, and Lori, my right hand, left hand, my brain, she's on vacation in Michigan, so she couldn't do it for me. So I'll just read it into the record instead. The city of Mitchell takes great pride in the accomplishments of Chase Briscoe and his showing in the NASCAR championship race. Even though Chase faced challenges in the race with tire problems, he ran as high as second. That was no small feat. And his season with Joe Gibbs' team was clearly one to remember. Our community rallied around him by having a race watch party at the MHS gym, and that is a testament to the strength and passion of small town support for one of our own. Many thanks to Tanya Shasteen of Lawrence County Tourism and her pit crew of volunteers for organizing the watch party. Also thanks to Superintendent Todd Tanksley and the Mitchell High School system for allowing the use of the MHS gym and their logistical support. The pride and unity shown by the community, especially through the watch party and the support from local leaders and our citizens, really highlights how racing is more than just a sport. It's a shared celebration of dedication and hometown pride. Congratulations, Chase, on a great season. Okay, we will move to other public comments, and Dan's already spoken, Sal's already spoken, so Barbara, it's your turn.
I have a question I do not understand. I want to get this where I know what I'm talking about when I have to get upset. The building that is next door to me, not just Burton's, that's an issue too, but the one on the other side, he's getting ready to sell it again. When I got mine, I was told that it was, they were zoned business, and that the only way that people could live in it was if they had the living quarters upstairs and owned a legal business downstairs. I know when he sells that, I wanna make sure that there's a business there before anybody's allowed to move in there. But then again, that's still gonna cause a big problem with parking, because if you got people that live there that have cars, and you have a business, and we have that fence on Burton's side, there's no parking. What can I do?
Well, I wish I had a great answer for you. Do you know who the people are?
No, I just know he's got it up for sale again, and I know the issues I've had nonstop with that. I wanna make sure where I stand when this happens again, because I mean, you know the issues that I've had. I mean, I've had everything from a woman wearing a bikini with her butt stuck to my window while I have customers in my shop. I've had hamburgers stuffed in my cameras. I've had all kinds of things happen since I've been there. And my frustration's getting really high with that kind of stuff. I have the red building down there that plays his music so loud it's crazy. They walk out of it, you can smell marijuana halfway down the block. mean, it's getting to be an issue. We wanna make Mitchell better, not have this kind of stuff. So where do we stand? What is the rights on that with the being able to live there and own?
I know the last time that we talked to Todd Atherton, the fire marshal, about residential use of commercial buildings. And he said, and I'm pretty sure I'm quoting him right, that you can use it as a resident as long as only no more than a third of it is residential, and the rest of it has to be a business.
Okay.
So we would have to
So
watch
how is
that.
the red building getting by with, he just moves people in and out, and in and out, in and out, don't have business at all?
Well, he is still just upstairs though, and we do have upstairs apartments.
Yeah, but I thought they had to have a business underneath of it to be able to live in the building.
I'm not sure about, you mentioned that, and I'm not sure exactly if that's correct or not.
How do we find out?
We have to look at our ordinances and maybe the legal, I don't know, would be state or.
Probably just local, our local ordinance, if it's a zone business and they're using it solely for residential, then there may be something.
It just makes it hard, I
Good
mean,
address.
the parking and stuff alone, I mean, when you got people living in a building and then they have other people move in, you got all these cars. And then, like I said, on this side, we got the fence. I mean, I've got that little business in between, I'd like to have parking. You know, I mean, there's days, when there's a lot of vehicles visiting. And there for a while, they had that one lady that was having parties down there on the bottom of the red building, and she would take up the whole block when she had a party. So there wasn't any room. I had to close twice because of that on a Saturday. There was nowhere for anybody to park. So that's what I'm asking is, where do I stand, being a business owner and dealing with all these residentials?
Well, I think we need to do something to protect our business owners.
Look into it and see what
Yeah,
our
I think we need to
active
do some
ordinances
checking.
are and stuff too.
See what we can do, I don't, can we possibly designate some parking spaces strictly for the business there in front of her business?
And can we get rid of the fence sometime soon?
Can't guarantee that right now.
Well, that's,
It's a long.
At the moment, that's really beyond our control.
Is the city still paying for that fence?
We are, partially.
Is there anything going forward with that at all?
Not at the moment. I mean, we're working across the street on our own property.
Yeah, I knew that.
And I just got today, we finally got approval that it's considered a brownfield site, which means that's one step closer. And that's one of our big hurdles. It's pretty hard to push your neighbor across the street and tell him he's got to do something when we've got our own headache that we aren't fixing.
Yeah.
So we kinda need to lead the way there. And we're several steps closer, and I do feel like that, it won't be too many more months before we'll have permission to tear down the old First National Bank building. And when we do that, that gives us some leverage across the street, because we can say, look, we're taking care of our house, now it's time to take care of your house.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And
Thank
if you
you.
could let me know for sure on that residential and business,
We'll
I
try.
would
I
appreciate
mean,
it.
I don't think our ordinances are really that tight on it. I think we need to look at them again and maybe try to tighten them up a little bit, a little more specific.
I appreciate it.
I seem to remember that at one time, they weren't supposed, they could have living quarters upstairs, but downstairs, they couldn't. But whether they had to have a business in there at the same time as that they had the residential, I'm not clear on that. They're not in my
All I
memory.
can say is thank God that they put that blanket or whatever they put a mess down there.
And, you know, you mentioned, George, about having certain parking spots and, you know, marked off for business. And
Right.
I don't know, there too, you know, it's a public street.
The
That's
thing
a
that,
question.
that I think, and I agree with her on, I don't think there's any intent of there being a business in there. I think there's no intentions whatsoever, because it's never happened that I'm aware of. And I've questioned that 2 or 3 times. And so, if we're gonna have park or residents above a business, that's fine and dandy, as long as there's that business there. And then, you put a family in there that's got a man and a wife and 2 teenage kids, they could have 4 cars parking on Main Street. So somehow or another, we've gotta address that.
And the building beside me has nowhere for them to park in the back, because it goes all the way to the alley. The one that's up for sale right now, it goes all the way to the alley, there's nowhere for anybody to park back there.
Now, the one, the red building, I think what you're talking about, I think the last time I remember business in there was maybe the photography, when there was photography outfit in there
Short period of time.
for a short period of time, that didn't last real long.
And the last one, she put her stuff up on the window, but no business ever went in.
No, the red ones where Sean lives upstairs, did it?
Huh?
Yes, that's what
Sean
Sean lives
Turner
upstairs.
lives upstairs, so. And I think he owns that building, doesn't
Which would be fine if it was
Yeah,
just Sean, but it's not just Sean.
he? Yeah.
Sean brings in anybody.
Mhm.
And then there's like the last one, all her stuff was out on the sidewalk, there was arguing, there was fighting. How's that look at my business when they're right down the street on the sidewalk? Do you see what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm serious, I had a girl in a bikini, while I had people in my shop on a Saturday, stick her tail in on my window because she was mad. And luckily, Jeff, y'all probably know Jeff Robertson, he went out there and told her, he said, honey, I hope you really don't think anybody thinks that's cute, because it sure isn't. And then she jumped in her car and took off. But I mean, I've dealt with, like I said, my cameras, I had $800 worth of cameras run because they stuffed food in it. So, I've got more cameras now. I've had kids going from the red building across the neighbor's building on top of mine, causing my roof to leak on more than one occasion. I get it fixed, they're back up there. They do graffiti. I mean, I went up there, I was told by the police that I had to have no trespassing signs on my roof. So I had Jeff and them go up there and put no trespassing signs on my roof. They had them tore off in a day, except for one in the back. So, I mean, what do I do here? I'd like to know where I stand. Because, I mean, I've had my business there for 3 years, you know, 2 years in the new building and 1 in that Jim's building. So, sorry, everybody knows my opinion of that, but what do I do?
I think right now, though, what we have to do is look into what the ordinances are and what, restrictions are supposed to be there. We'll go that route before we could actually make an answer to you which way, cause we'd be telling you one thing and then we find out it's something else, so, but, for us to look into it and find legally what.
Well, let us try to look into it, and we'll try to get something by the next council meeting, what we really think we can do.
I appreciate it, I really
If
do.
we need to pass a adjustment to an ordinance or an entirely different ordinance, we can.
Do you have any cameras on above?
I don't have them on the roof, because I know they just tear them off.
But they can't, well, that's true. You
But
can
see, I'm
buy-
the short building, in the middle of the big buildings.
Yeah,
So,
I was thinking if you bought the cheaper Ring cameras,
well, I try
they
to
might
get,
tear them off, but they're gonna be on the camera. And that guy right back there has come to me a couple times and asked if I have something on my camera, so Those cameras are worth the time.
Well, I've
Just
got
like-
outside and inside, or in front and the back.
Yeah.
But I don't have the, but I called and talked to, Duke Energy and asked them if I could put one on the pole where it was pointing towards my roof, and I was told no.
They get pretty picky on their poles anymore.
Huh?
They get real picky on their poles anymore.
I don't know why, they let them hang everything else on there.
We run into that festival stuff too, you know, we were gonna move some boxes and, no, you gotta put your own poles.
So my next step was to ask the post office, so I don't know who to ask there.
Of course, that would be,
Albert.
that's Albert's business, that's Albert's actual or building. So I would say you would have to go through him.
Albert Testing?
Yeah.
He's on the building.
Okay.
He's not the postmaster, not yet, but that's,
But yeah, if I could get one aimed at that way, it would be perfect.
if he tells you, okay, then that's one thing, but he might tell you have to go to somebody else or something, but it is his building.
Yeah.
That might be an option.
And if that don't work, I'm gonna have to go to my sister. And we'll shoot it from the other way. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Barbara. Anything else for the good of the order?
The only other thing, on the Colivarium, we had a donation, put some new shrubs out in behind the Colivarium and around the side, so kind of dress that area up a little bit.
I got a question. The Monon Trail. When they put them 50 or 60 persimmon trees there, I mean, are they all gonna grow up and be sterile? I mean, or is the people that walk on the trail gonna have to walk through, you know, one whole block full of persimmons laying on the trail?
Couldn't answer that.
Where are those at?
Between Main Street and Oak.
Yeah, that wasn't anything in the original plan, and they didn't mention anything about it.
Well, I just wondered if-
Showed up.
I just wondered if they asked Andy what kind of trees, you know, I mean, you could have put a flowering pear there, it would have been a whole lot better than, you know, I'm sure that there's 50 persimmon trees there. I can only imagine, all it takes is one male, okay, out of all of those. And we're gonna have 50 trees full of persimmons laying around, drawing, all kinds of wildlife there to eat them, and all of the, yellow jackets.
There's always chainsaws.
I'm just saying, I didn't know if that was something
Well,
that,
I do know that at the end of the day, when they're done, if they ever get done, get the finances done, they're getting rid of it. I mean, Radius will not be in charge. Every county will have their own committee.
I mean, I understand that, you know, us being the persimmon capital of the world, I mean, it was probably a grand idea, but they should have thought about this a little bit better, because they didn't know all the nuances with persimmon trees, I guess.
A lot of it depends on, you know, if they're berry trees or not, so it's, I guess that's one thing we'll find. If we're still here.
Yeah, well, I don't think they only take like 5 years or so, I'm thinking I'll make it that long. I might not, but.
Anything else? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.